A couple times a year at my company, Olio Apps, we take a break from our usual client work building software for enterprise and startups and build something just for fun. This year we had a hackathon in April and we had a record-breaking 14 projects. This video captures the final presentations and the judging that came afterwards.
Hello, everybody. So for my hackathon project, I took a dive into Shoutbase. Everybody at Olio knows what Shoutbase is, but for our judges who have probably never come in contact with it, Shoutbase is our internal time tracking software. And to give you a quick view of what it looks like this. And in it, we can add events that we track time for and everything. There's been this persistent bug for a long time. I know I'm not the only one who it has severely impacted their mental health and everything. So I took liberty today of fixing the bug, and I did it. So here is a demo of the bug. We insert a time, say 5, and we tab down to the next field. It goes to 5 a.m. of the next day. It's infuriating. It takes a whole nother like 10 keystrokes to fix this problem, 10 seconds. However, it's been 10 seconds per day for about 3 years now. So it's added up at this point. So here is the demo of my fix. Ladies and gentlemen, a fixed Shoutbase time entry. This has been my hackathon presentation. Thank you, everybody.
So long.
Thank you, everybody.
So we wanted to solve the age-old problem. I'm totally kidding. This was really inspired by every once in a while when we're out and about, I think to myself, I wonder what my cat is up to, or how far away is he from me right in this moment? And so months ago, we came up with this idea for a silly little app that you could just open and put in your pet's location. Okay, I should do this presentation that I made. So this is the solution to my problem. This is my cat. This is him again. And the app is going to be called Where's Burley? And so it's pretty simple. First, you enter your pet's name, and then you set their location, and then you can be told how far away they are from you. And you can choose any kind of unit of measurement that you want. It could be miles, it could be kilometers, it could be worms, it could be whiskers, it could be paws. So that you know exactly how far away they are at all times. And now I'm going to pass it over to Emma to do a little demo.
Okay, so as you can see, step 1, I can put in my pet's name, which isn't Burley. It's obviously Hector.
That's his first name.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then let's go to a church. Okay, actually that's fine. And that's where Burley is. Burley's at a church.
Burley's at church.
And now we can actually depict, Burley being 54,875.52 worms away from us, where we are. So
that's it. Thank you. This has been our hackathon presentation. Thank you so much.
Is that as the crow flies, or is that taking into account like turns and directions and everything?
Oh no, it's as the crow flies. That's why there's a crow gif. I don't know if you saw that. There's a crow gif at the beginning. So yeah, we
used I can't remember what it's called right now. Has something with an H formula, and it's a formula to calculate the distance between 2 points on the globe, like just directly between the 2 points. And then we gave it some conversions for worms and whiskers and paws and what have you.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay, so I made a browser extension. It uses the side panel API. I'm using Firefox because I don't use Chrome anymore. Yeah. So basically, yeah, let's just ignore what I just said there. It's kind of like a note-taking app, but it has a little AI flavor on there. So for instance, I want AI to categorize my notes for me. So for instance, I can write on here, let's see. So we can do something like that. And it gives some categories for that that node. And on the above one, you see that it gave some categories, even though I didn't enter any text. Yeah, it shouldn't be doing that, but it can find some information because it uses the URL of the current active tab to do that. And for instance, on use state, if we go in here now, then we can be like, use state is, oh, we have some immutability stuff, right? You gotta set state immutably, and then there's maybe you like kept reading and then you found Emmer, right? And then we go, Emmer can make it easier to set immutable state, right? So, then maybe like reading in here, maybe that's what I concluded. And now what I can do is, you see they have like these little categories. I can click on them and it will filter it to that one. So you can do hooks, Emmer, and then, I can click back here to remove them. So yeah, it uses the web extensions polyfill API for creating the extension. This is the manifest v2, and for the backend, or it also has material UI. The backend is Express plus Prisma ORM, and I'm just using a SQLite database. Does anyone have any questions?
Where are you getting the categories from? Is that from the HTML itself and sort of where you are in the doc?
So the categories I'm also using OpenAI ChatGPT in my backend, and I'm having it, kind of like from the note. I'm having it give me the categories by, reading the contents of the note. I'm also passing ChatGPT the current URL, and I'm also passing ChatGPT my previous categories and what note that category originated from. So that way it has a lot of context to work with and give me, smart categories. That's it.
So for my project, I decided to make a little. I was playing Euchre last night and thought it would be fun to make a Euchre game, but on the CLI. So can I see my screen? Yes. I don't know if anybody knows the rules of Euchre, but it's like a little trick-taking card game. So I just built a little mini version. It deals out a hand. You get to select the trump suit. So I got a good hearts hand here, so I can say hearts. Hearts is the trump. I'm on the team A with the other bot. I get to choose which card I want to play. I'll play 4 because that's my best card. So I won that hand. You can see what the other bots played. It keeps score. Since I won, I get to play again. So I'll play my ace. It's 4. Let's see. So I did not win that because bot 1 beat me with their jack. And then they lead, so then I play again. I get to play, I don't know, whatever, 3. Did not win. Oh, I did win. Nice. Nah. Anyway, it's Euchre on the CLI. It works mostly. I need to fix the AI's choice of which cards they play. It's not always, they follow the rules, but it's not always the optimal card. So that bit I need to update. But otherwise, it follows the game rules and scores it right. So it's kind of working. And that's pretty much it.
I did it's called Chronobyte. That's what I called it. This is a calendar first file system. So we got April here, March and whatnot. You can click in here and you can store different files for each day. So this one's the 7th, can add a file. It's for the 7th. Save it. In this case, there was already one existing. We can overwrite it, have delete functionality, and can add the file back. This is done in Electron, and it's using local file storage, so no database or anything. But then, so with all of these files, you can then create it's called a byte, basically, is what I've referred to it as, where you select a range of dates. And then you can parse them, which will give you all of the text from inside the files. And then take a byte, which is AI giving you a summary of everything you just gave it. Yeah. That's what I did.
Can I ask where the idea came from? A calendar file system is so original.
That was why I did it. The file system was like the main, and I was like trying to think of a cool UI. And then I was like, I feel like it'd be cool if you could just like have calendars, but it's all files, and then you can just like create summaries based off. And yeah, I don't know. So just something to do for the hackathon.
Nice.
Yeah, I pulled in some data to analyze from the Seattle Public Library because I love working here and it's a very cool building. So share screen. Just made a dashboard so you can explore like checkout data. You can see here people have been checking out Bible here. This is all written in Dash and Python. And then not very pretty, but then I pulled in, made a graph of like how people are accessing data, whether it's an atlas or a book. And you can see, I thought the most interesting thing I saw here was like percentage of checkouts sharply changes around COVID. So you can see all of the checkout types vary quite a lot once we get to COVID. And yeah, I had a bit of trouble early on with the API, but eventually got it running.
All right, so there are two halves of mine quickly. I wanted to try Docker as a local development environment again, using the develop spec, along with traffic, an application proxy that runs in Docker, and the make cert utility for making local SSL certificates. And so this is the traditional way, right? Localhost :3000. And this is what it looks like now, datapilot.docker.localhost. You might say, why, right? Well, how many local hosts do you have in your password manager, among other things? It has full SSL, so connection is secure, certificate is valid using make cert. Sometimes you need to test that locally. Sometimes you need multiple domains. So this is Datapilot, this is Datapilot-white label. I can log into the same app twice. I can use real things like app, www, etc. I can do multiple apps. So this is admin or evo, my favorite database GUI. This is Tater Talk, my little pet side project. This is the traffic dashboard, shows you everything that's running on my computer. This is the SSL, the green badge. And then the second half of the hackathon, I decided to develop with it. So I hacked on my Tater Talk side project, which is a dictation app. This is a list of things I'd like to do, : and then paste in an example here. Now, one limitation of dictation is it's hard to format things, right? So I thought maybe an AI can format it for me. So this AI button is new today, right? Everything else was here, but this AI button is new. And I told it to take what I write and format it in Markdown. So here you can see a demonstration of what it looks like. It's obviously a bolded list and it figured that out. And then another example would be code related. So go in here, how to set up your local Docker environment. Let's ask the AI to format that. And you get the backticks and things, and we can see also what that looks like. So an easy way to dictate your readmes and things like that. And there you go.
The problem is this: I like playing with synthesizers, but I don't really know how to play the piano. So I can turn knobs and I can make sounds, but I couldn't play, Mozart. And so I decided I wanted to learn piano scales. And so I made an app to help me do that. I don't know how the sound is going to come through here. Can you guys hear that? All right. How about now? We got that? Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. So along with me, I have here, I don't know if you can see me, but I have my Arturia Key Step, which is a MIDI controller. And I'm using this. I have this plugged in to my computer, and I'm using a package called Tone.js, which gives you the ability to kind of like use oscillators and reverb and all this kind of stuff. You can kind of build all these things out piecemeal, and it will respond to the MIDI input. And so you can listen for certain keys being pressed, and you can respond in whatever way you like. So we can hear, you know, I can play some keys, or I can play a chord. It has a polyphony, which is kind of cool. So right now I have some of the keys mapped to be like up and down buttons. So I was listening to a lot of city pop and thinking about how I love like old 80s video games. So I tried to style this after an 80s golf game. And so I have two options here. You can play golf or you can learn piano scales. So oh, you can't hear the... Oh,
we can totally hear it.
Okay. All right. So most people can hear the keys pressed. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and select play golf. Oh, we've selected practice piano scales. I haven't actually built out a whole golf game, but it's probably better because I need to do this anyway. So we go to the course select first, and we can switch between these using the keyboard, wherever those keys are. And what normally would happen is the picture would change and the text would change, but I didn't get around to that. And I can choose any of these scales. And actually all of these work and have data loaded in for them. I'm going to choose the major scale because I shortened it for the purposes of the demo. And here's our game screen. And so, oh yeah, there's a little bit of a bug right now where the last pressed key is still highlighted. So that one on the very far right is the last one I pressed. But what this is doing is showing you all the keys within the scale. If you see in the top right, this is our major scale. Below that whole, the whole is C. We're going to go through, you know, all of the different notes, starting notes for all the scales. And the user is expected to do it 4 times. So I'll go ahead and do it once right now. And you can see that my stroke has now changed. So I was on a driver and now I'm on an iron. So let's do it again. And then a wedge. And now let me actually press the wrong key. All right, and I'm pressing a bunch of wrong keys and you can see my score is going up. And so as I press more keys, my score goes up, kind of like having a high score in golf, right? And so right now the timer is absurdly long. Like it's, you know, I'll never need 500 seconds to do all this. But the idea is I would go through, you know, all the different keys here. And then let's see, bang. And then I have my putter, last one. And now if this works, I actually haven't tested this yet. No, it didn't. So then there's a success screen that will tell you your time, how many mistakes you made, your score, and all of that. It's so close to working, but I didn't quite get it in under the wire. So that's basically the idea. And I'm gonna actually use this to practice this weekend. So.
All right, so I built an application that solves an extremely simple problem that's been an annoyance for me. Anytime I go to Fred Meyer, I need to find something in an aisle and I have no idea what aisle it's in. And the Fred Meyer website is like ridiculously slow at the Bend Fred Meyer, at least like my cell phone's internet is not great. So I wanted to build an app that like literally just searches the Fred Meyer API for individual items. And so I was able to get it to where like I built this like really crappy bare bones website that instead of having a request that takes like 8 to 10 megabytes and 30 seconds to finish, you know, it's like 82 kilobytes in just a couple seconds because it's really, really quick, which is really nice. So yeah, anyway, you can see here, like I can search for Pepperjack and then I can see all of the items that Fred Meyer has at Pepperjack at my chosen Bend location. You can change your zip code. Like if I wanted to change to a Portland one, I could. Yeah, anyway, that's it. And so like, yeah, it's just really nice. I can also add items to the cart. And so if I wanted, I could see all of the different aisles. I could even sort it by aisles, which is not built yet. But then I can make my shopping just a lot easier, which would be really nice. The other main thing I wanted to do was try something new, which it's a estate management library called Jotai, I think. I don't actually know how it's pronounced, but there's Jotai. It's really, really lightweight. It's basically just like use state everywhere. So the syntax is really, really, really familiar. So you can see here, like this is just creating an atom. These atoms will be used all throughout the app. To access it, you can just do essentially what is like the use state syntax. So you can get user location. You can also get a set for user location. Then you just get the atom. So again, like you can just use this anywhere and plug it in. There's no like centralized store or anything like that. That's kind of one of the cool things about it. Is like you don't have to do a whole bunch of like Redux boilerplate just to get your store set up. It's just there. And then to update it, I'm gonna move zoom so I can see. But yeah, anyway, to update it, you can just like literally get the setter and then set it, call it from literally anywhere. So it's really, really nice. I did find like some benefits as I started building the app. Like it made it nice jumping around in different spots. Like if I wanted to get my Fred Meyer location, it was really easy. I didn't have to do a whole bunch of store setup. So anyway, that was the really nice thing. Yeah, that's kind of it. It's just kind of a basic app. If I was to keep building it, which maybe I will, I'd make this look a little bit better because like it's pretty ugly. Yeah, I don't know, but just keeping it really, really lightweight would be the ideal goal. Yeah, but that's it for me. Yeah, Joe Toy is what it was called, and it's really, really neat. I also did server-side rendering, but I don't know if I really noticed much of a difference with how small the application is. But just wanted to try new stuff. But yeah, that's it for me.
Can you legit use the API? You have to
yeah, I used Cursor to set up OAuth, and so like it's legitimately the API. Like I had it set up in OAuth, so I get like a token, and then I'm saving my token, and then I can query Fred Meyer or Kroger's API over and over. You can also add items technically to your cart. You can search for locations, and you can search for items. Yeah, thanks.
Well, this has been fun, but fun time is over because we're getting political. So I just built an app. I think there's already apps like this that exist, but basically something very straightforward to reach out to representatives, see what kind of bills are open, and purpose is people are scared, people are angry, people want to know how to take action, and people are people. So you can search for congressional reps by location. You can look up bills, and you can get help contacting your rep. Let's dive into the app. Where's the app? Okay. It's pretty straightforward. It's called HALP. So if you search for reps by zip code, it'll pull up a list of pretty much like 2 senators and then your House of Representative in the area. You can search by bill category. So you could search for like healthcare, and then you can look in all states. This shows all the open House bills and all the open Senate bills. So obviously, like I'm very aware of what HB 49 is, and I want to talk to my representative about it. So I'm going to select that one. Yeah, it's a pretty heavy one. So we're going to go ahead and reach out to our rep about this bill. What are these? All right, I'm not even going to answer seriously, but I'm going to say I want to vote no on this. So this is going to ask Janelle Bynum to vote no on HB 49. I'm going to go ahead and generate a message, and this will use OpenAI to generate a message, and it kind of gives you guidelines for basically what you could say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that yeah, like I said, there's other apps like this that exist, but they're still kind of confusing. So yeah, that's that.
You need to make the herd app now for the representatives.
Sorry, Philip, I had you turned down. Not just you, everybody.
You need to make the herd app now for the representatives when they receive these. So help.
Oh yeah. Yeah, hear and ignore. Yeah.
Ignore. Yeah, okay, that's a better one.
We're doing hacking.
Whoa.
Open Morrowind. Modding Open Morrowind. A presentation by Sweet Baby D. Why did I want to mod Open Morrowind? I love Morrowind. Game dev is cool, and I wanted to do an homage to a legendary mod scene. Some background first. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind was released in 2002. It was succeeded later by Oblivion and Skyrim, which I'm sure everyone's heard of. And 2002, it released with the included construction set that is the in-house dev tools. The mod scene's been active for over 23 years now. The biggest highlight is Tamriel Rebuilt, which seeks to increase the game size from a singular subcontinent of the main game to the entirety of the lore world. And at present, what is this? 19 years later, they have nearly tripled the game's content. Oops. Where did I? Okay. Recently a Scratch game engine intended to run Morrowind on modern machines was released. They aim for maximal compatibility with assets for the original game, including the aforementioned Tamriel Rebuilt, and it includes its own construction set. That construction set is essentially a pretty weak UI for relating data. The content generation revolves loading assets and relating those assets to other data in basically the database of the game. Here's some screen caps there. So I made this NPC. His name is Aaron. Here's a screen cap of adding some dialogue, and then here's an example of some journal entries in the game. The game involves questing and talking to NPCs, collecting information from them, yada yada yada. My MVP was to add an in-game building in Seyda, which is the starting town of the game. And that was meant to be the Olio headquarters, populated by Olio employees, each one having unique dialogue with 2 quests, one to fetch and return an API key, and the other one to squash some bugs. How far I got? I added a singular NPC. His name's Aaron Racho, and then a singular fetched quest from him, which we'll see in a second. My challenges. The construction set for Open Morrowind is very poorly documented. That includes the scripting language, undocumented. The dev loop, weak. I had to restart the game every time to reflect my changes. Many documented instructions simply did not work. It was buggy, it was crashy, it was grindy, and a day was not enough time to do like the high, the really awesome things that would have been cool, like creating custom assets and writing like intense scripts and building really intense features. Okay, so here we go. Here's Aaron. Hello there, San Pellegrino. My name is Aaron Nacho. I've traveled far from the land of ports to the bitter coast of Ardental in preparation for Hackathon. What is a hackathon? A hackathon is something like a magical experiment. I come from a guild of silicomancers in the land of the West. We hone our art through hackathons in hope of gaining deeper insight into the mysteries of copper, silicon, and the universe. Please let me know if you have time to help me. Help me. Would you kindly retrieve an API key from the Tantrum Adeline? He should be in the pub upstairs at the trade house. I would go myself, but on bad terms with the owner, Ariel. No, I can't remember the whole story, only that cyrodiilic brandy was somehow involved. Anyhow, I would be grateful for your help. I need that key. How else could I be expected to conduct my research without access to the internet? All right, journal updated. I need to go and find this key for Aaron. Let me go over here to the trade house. Luckily, I know where this guy is. API key. You're here to pick up the API key for the Outlander, Aaron Racho, yes? Tell him he owes me big time and to lay off on the cyrodiilic brandy. I have the key. My quest has been updated. He gave me the key. Bring it back to Aaron. Maybe he has an award for me. Go outside. Go back to Aaron.
This one.
API key. Did you fetch my API key for me? My goodness, thank you so much. Blessings of Akatosh upon you. Here, take this gold as thanks. And take this bottle of cyrodiilic brandy. Don't drink it all in one place. He takes the key, gives me a brandy and a gold, and my quest marker is updated. I retrieve the API key for the silicomancer, Aaron Nacho. He gave me gold and a bottle of cyrodiilic brandy, warning me not to drink it all in one place. I'm still not sure if I understand what a hackathon is. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is my hackathon project. I was talking to Derek at our one-on-one yesterday about video games. He's very passionate about them, as we just saw in his presentation. And I realized that gamification is something that we use to incentivize people to like increase productivity at times. And I was also talking to Jeremy yesterday about bugs and how the origin of of a bug. That term was a mock that was found in a computer. So for my hackathon, I created a GitHub application. This can be downloaded by any repo, and the concept behind it is to gamify this concept that I uncovered there's a need for, which is we need more commits in PRs. It's difficult to get people to make a lot of commits when they're making a PR. So this GitHub app tries to get people to do more of that through kind of a fun way. I created a game called Wings of Exception. Wings of Exception is a scroll game, I think it might be called, that's generated via a GitHub app as part of the deployment process. So you merge a PR to main, the GitHub app will run as a GitHub action from your PR that extracts information, username, avatar, and the number of commits associated with that PR. Then when that PR is merged to main, part of the GitHub action builds and deploys the app to a website, to a GitHub page, and then comments a link to your game that you created, your stats. And then the more commits you have, the better your character in the game. I built this using Phaser, which I've never worked with before. It's kind of fun. It's a lightweight JavaScript game framework. It uses arcade physics. How did I do this? There's a lot of help for docs. The game will look familiar. Image generation, I used everything was built with ChatGPT from prompts. And then I used Cursor to help me out in building it. This whole app it looks like a lot, but it's only 4 main files. And I will demo that app now. Okay, cool. So this is, you can see when you log in, it says the total number of commits, and it's pulling me my name and my avatar. I'll hit enter. And then you can see here, I have this gentle little character with and then I'm a bug, and then I am like basically the person trying to kill the bug. That's the idea. I'm the avatar, but I play the bug in this game. And you can see here, if I move over to the code, this is what the data looks like when it comes in the build. If I switch the number of commits to 4, you can see here that my character is bigger and its jump is higher. And then if I change that to like 14, for example, you'll see here that I have an even bigger character. And the character, so the characters are cooler, they have better stats, and they're also smaller, so you have less likely of hitting the enemy. So that is it. And then just to wrap up, Phaser was complicated, still some bugs. I wanted to add more dynamic changes, ran out of time, game stuff. And these are some of the characters I created.
Hello, I'm Justin. My hackathon project is called Code Squad. It is kind of a retro take on a bomb defusal game that solves squash bugs in code before the timer runs out and things explode. During hackathons, I'm actually usually more motivated to explore new tech stacks, tools, or processes that I haven't used before. So I wanted to have some fun and do some debugging challenges. That's just kind of a wrapper for exploring TanStack with their remote procedure, something or other. Basically server functions. I also wanted to explore more agentic modes in Cursor. And I realized that I picked a bomb defusal thing. I've spent the last 2 weeks on fire in the project I'm currently working on. So like the timed stress of solving and solving problems is kind of really meta for me at the moment. So I use TanStack Start. I really like TanStack and his products, starting with React Query or now TanQuery. And then Claude and OpenAI, I've used their API keys before. This is kind of a work in progress thing. But then in Cursor, I always just use kind of ask mode, and I use it as a coding partner. But I went full agentic mode and just let Cursor do everything, which I'll talk about in my summary. Before I do challenges, I want to do a quick demo of how it kind of turned out. Um, but basically, you've got an editor and you are given certain challenges, and it's not leak code, but there's something wrong with the code. And you can, execute the code in a VM, and then you're fed more and more. What is this? I'm really, really afraid of getting some of these wrong in front of everybody. Mod one. Anyways, you see, you go through all of these. There's a light kind of user progression. And of course, this would all be skimmed in some kind of game. Ben has some really fun ideas for a game I might collaborate with him on later. But anyways, that's as far as I got. Challenge wise, I really just kind of had an interesting time with the agent mode. I really, really wanted to learn about TanStack and using server functions and everything. But when you do agent mode, I found like you just give up so much control and like the time to actually learn and understand what's going on. Like, I really don't feel I learned really how server functions are working and like the real inner workings of TanStack and that kind of router paradigm. I got something that works and I could demo it and it's like a viable product. But for as far as like learning and actually like soaking up new knowledge, like it's definitely a sacrifice. So that was my biggest takeaway for the hackathon. So thank you very much.
Yeah, so yesterday I was thinking about what I wanted to do. Somebody said something about using public data. So I went to this public APIs repo and just kind of browsed through and decided to do something with animals last night. And I found this thing that Cornell has, which is eBirds, and they have an API for viewing bird sightings. So I thought that might be kind of cool to learn the API and get that going. So here's the web app. I've got a map view of the sightings in San Francisco County and a list of them. And I added like a state selector. So I can select Oregon. It goes to Baker County, which doesn't have a lot of sightings. And if I click one of these, then it's going to fetch image from Wikimedia based on the genus name or something. And then it's going to hit another endpoint that gives like a rarity score for the sighting. Yeah, the county selector will also refresh the list and the map. And that's pretty much it. Oh, look at that guy. Beautiful. Yeah, that's it. That's me. Birds.
I've been very curious about multiplayer games and how they handle syncing many actions across many computers with latency and all these various things. So I'm going to just jump right into letting you all join me in my multiplayer game, and I'll share the screen here. So those of you who don't join, if you don't, you can see. And yeah, you can move around with W, A, S, and D, and you can click to shoot. The bullets sort of go quite the random direction, and and
move around. WA is. Oh, WA is.
Yeah, and you aim with your mouse cursor and click. And there are enemies which are there, but you can't destroy them right now. And there is supposed to be a boundary that you're not supposed to be able to cross out of, but not sure that quite works exactly right all the time. So yeah, I used a front-end library for games called Kaplay. I've never used it. Just looked for the simplest possible thing. And then on the back end, I used Express and then also WebSockets and deployed this all with Google Cloud Run, which I found is a very clean, fast way to get a deployment.
And yeah, there you have it. There's my hackathon project.
Awesome.
Awesome, amazing. Did we miss anybody? Okay, I think everybody has gone. Yeah, I'm gonna send Carter and Jerry off to a breakout room for 10 minutes and then we'll bring you back. Okie doke. We have everybody. How did that go for you guys, Jerry and Carter?
Pretty smooth, actually.
I think you gave us the perfect amount of time. We were literally wrapping up when you pulled us. So.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to hand it over to you two to announce our winner and our runner-up in whichever order you choose.
Okay, so we did it a little bit differently, but we are prepared to give you an overall winner. We broke it up into 3 categories of lifestyles, games, and productivity, with sort of a lead and then some runners up, and then we can provide you with an overall winner. And I don't know if we have an overall runner-up, but we'll do this on the fly and work it out. Let's see here. Jerry, do you want to take lifestyles?
No, I didn't record everything, but
okay, I've got it here. Okay, so then for lifestyle, first of all, the passion really came across from everybody in the group. They were doing things that they cared about, and that really moved us. But with everything going on politically, the HALP app that John did really resonated. Seemed very useful in a lot of different ways, and it would drive a lot of we think positive sentiment for society, but also get people excited. So that was number 1. Runner up 2 was the eBirds. Jonathan Bridges' work was just fantastic. Very, very polished app with, again, we think a user base that would just literally eat that up and find it very useful and go after it. And then also the Fred Meyer app. I just thought that was incredibly useful and simple and lightweight and would solve a problem that I have whenever I go to the market. So just, really good job in that order. For games, next category, we had Aaron's gamification of commits as number 1. Again, just fantastic job. Really important building up commits and getting people involved. And then that idea that almost gives you cheat codes for the game. That was really cool. And then Derek's Morrowind. We just thought that was a very creative way to go, getting the API key, super cool. And then for productivity, Ian's time tracking tool, clever, simple, fast hack. But I think it's one of those things that people take for granted. It's almost like, oh, it's a bug, but nobody ever tackles it. But how much time is that burning? How annoying it is. So just fantastic work there. And then Philip's work, really cool with the Docker and the make cert, and then, the ability to use a password manager and then to format with AI, we just thought was really, really neat. So great job. And then Jerry, let me maybe pass it over to you to announce the overall winner.
The overall winner is HALP.
HALP.
Wow.
Very
Would
nice.
you like to make an acceptance
Thank you all.
speech?
What's that?
Would you like to make an acceptance speech?
Yeah, self-deprecation goes a long way. I did I did not think I was going to win, but I really appreciate it. Thank you all.
You earned it, John. Great work.
Up overall, or is that sufficient?
Well, we have a runner-up prize. You want me to put you back in a breakout room and you can decide on that? If I give you a minute in a breakout room? Or you want to just take a stab now? We do need an overall runner-up.
Okay.
If you can.
Yeah, maybe if you could throw us into a breakout room for 1 minute, I think we can go quick.
All right, let's do that.
Okay. Has Jerry come back? Well, we can, yep. Jerry, you want to announce?
Yes, I would. I'm sorry it took us so long. I had to go and canvass the contestants for bribes. I didn't get anybody to bite though. And anyway, the second, did we have a drum roll? The bird, the birds, the birds, the bird. The overall runner-up.
John and John.
Awesome.
John Bridges, Jonathan Bridges.
You guys made it really hard on us. Those were some great projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
to the judges and contestants. Really, really appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You all are so talented. It's so
Hackathon.
fun to watch it's so fun to watch the presentations at the end of the hackathons. But good job, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
High fives all around.
Bye.
Good.